this TVC journalist, he made all these comments way ahead, right before Tinubu's broadcast, before the declaration. Did he read? Okay, he checked his mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
That's why we say people should have integrity. He made all these comments before, but the man, he folded. He changed mouth afterwards. We should be able to call people out. We call journalists out when they go astray. That's the ethics of this job. Emergency law. The TVC journalist, Babajide Otitoju.
It is borderline irresponsible or irresponsibility for anybody to come out and say Jide took back what he said. I knew that they would do this because they assume that everybody is cowardly. And I've contacted two lawyers.
So in all my years, both as a student of journalism and of course as a journalist in Nigeria, I never for once heard or seen situations where news organizations or journalists take one another to court. But that is about to change now as senior journalist. Babajide Otitoju of TVC recently threatened to sue Rufai Oseni of Arise News. Trouble started when Rufai Oseni accused the senior journalist of dramatically making a volte-face on his stance on the state of emergency that was recently declared in Rivers State by the president. Now, for context, this is what the senior journalist said hours before the president declared the state of emergency in Rivers State. Watch.
Based on the 1999 Constitution, you cannot have a state of emergency that will send a governor packing, that will send elected representatives of the people at the state level packing for a period of time. That was an antiquated law. Nigerians will have challenged Obasanjo that this law does not exist. But he used it in a number of states. An illegal law was used to send fellowship packing. There is no such thing. And I still hear people say, declare state of emergency. Nobody can declare a state of emergency in Nigeria currently because we now know the law. But many people don't know. What the 1999 Constitution precises in the state of emergency is that during that period, you can arrest people for 90 days without trial. It was an illegal law that Obasanjo used and got away with it. But after that, no Nigerian president
has tried it.
If anybody tries it, that person will fail. It does not exist in our laws anymore.
But contrary to his expectations and convictions, the president did what he did. Which then made quite a number of people, especially on social media, think Mr. Otitoju was going to either walk back his earlier statement or try to amend it in some way. As a matter of fact, some people on social media even said he had already changed his position to now align with that of his president. Now, to set the record straight, this is what he did.
BKO, talk to me. Did you see this coming? Because we talked about the state of emergency on the show.
I didn't see it coming, but I would say that the president caught me and many Nigerians by surprise. I didn't see it coming based on the fact that I had read that section repeatedly. The section cited, I had read it repeatedly. I was very much convinced that a president has not got the powers to sack elected officials. And that was what I said. There are many people who are saying, oh, we are going to hear what Jide will say today. He's going to take back what he said. I do not take back anything. I do not take back anything that I said. I repeat. Based on my reading of the provisions of the Constitution, I did not see anywhere the law permitted the president to sack or to suspend elected state officials like House of Assembly members, like the governor. So, and that was the point that I made. But the president then made that broadcast at 7 o'clock, and we were all shocked. I wasn't thinking along that line. Some thought maybe I had a premonition and that I was trying to dissuade the president, convince the president not to do it. None of that happened. I didn't
know that the president was going to do it, I just expressed my opinion that, look, no matter what happens, the democratic structures should be in place. Because I repeat, I didn't see anywhere in the Constitution where the president was permitted by law to have those elected officials suspended. And I remember that during Jonathan's time as president, this issue also came up, and lawyers made the point that the president, that you can impose a state of emergency, but not go to the extent of removing state officials who are duly elected by the people. And the state of emergency that Jonathan imposed in the 3 states where Boko Haram insurgency was such a big problem, where they were killing people, it merely permitted the armed forces to detain people for 90 days without trial. So as a journalist and historian, I recall the past, I recall what happened, and it influenced my judgment at that time. But I could see the mischief that some Nigerians were trying to make, trying to give the impression that I said all of those things after the president's speech. Of course, that was not what happened. I had said it about 1.5 hours before the president. Yes, before the president made the proclamation. Exactly. Again, some were saying, oh, if the president had said it earlier, would Jide have found the courage to say this? These are people who do not know us. So it's not a case of, oh, if he had said it earlier, I would have been forced to support. Of course, I'm entitled to my own opinion. And that was what I expressed. There were lawyers who called me to say, Jide, you are wrong. You shouldn't have said the president has not got the power. And one of them went as far as telling me that, and even cited, he said, the Emergency Powers Act 1961/1962 has not been repealed, but only omitted from the compilation of laws of the Federation of Nigeria and described as spent. It remains law. As long as the National Assembly has not repealed it, it remains law. Yes, I said that based on my own judgment. I'm not a lawyer, but based on my understanding of the provisions of the Constitution, and I do not take it back. Those who see me as a coward that will take it back, you are hearing me now. I do not take back what I said yesterday, and that is me.
Now, even after that clarification, there were still certain persons who were not buying into it, even though the evidence speaks for itself. One of such persons is, of course, Rufai Oseni, who said this.
All right, Dr. Bati, you said he was referring to the State of Emergency Act 1961.
On the basis of which the Tafawa Balewa government removed the government in the Western region in 1962 and appointed Dr. Maje Kudume as the sole administrator.
All right.
But what people should also realize is that in that First Republic, we were running a parliamentary government. The Premier himself was a member of parliament, so first among equals. So once you dissolve the system, it was based on that, State of Emergency Act of 1961. And that was why I said earlier on this program that we no longer have that law. That law, which was quoted during the Obasanjo period, did not exist. And that's the basis on which people are saying, the removal of democratic structures in the Ekiti and Plateau and Yobe State, was wrong under Obasanjo. And that, look, under President Jonathan also, that law does not exist. Some people have been saying it now exists.
That's what
and now I'm saying that I have not seen a copy of this, their 2018 act that some people have been quoting. Maybe there was a bill, but I'm not too sure that it passed through, the complete process. And in that light, even if that law exists, it's a subsidiary legislation. It cannot be superior to the Constitution. And to the extent that you have Section 1, Sub 2, you have Section 11, Sub 4, you have provisions under 305 also, and you have 188. That law, if it exists, is to the extent of its inconsistency with the Constitution, null and void. Simple, trite, law.
Very well, very well. But this TVC journalist, he made all these comments way ahead, right before Tinubu's broadcast, before the declaration. Did he read? Okay, he checked his mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
That's why we say people should have integrity. He made all these comments before. But the man, he folded. He changed mouth afterwards. Guess what he was not quoting? He was not saying that somebody sent me about that emergency law. The TVC journalist, Babajide Otitoju. He was not quoting.
No, he's a very senior journalist.
I know, but with due respect, in this regard, you change mouths. That's just it.
How did he change?
We are talking facts.
Okay, what did he say?
Earlier, before now, Dr. Abati, he said all the right things before that decision was made. But next time, yes, and yesterday, at first he blamed Fubara all through. Now he was not talking about the fact that there was an emergency law of 1961 1962 that you were talking about.
There is 1961, yes.
And he claimed that law, somebody sent him, that had not been repealed. So people are changing mouth. See, when we should be able to call people out, we call journalists out when they go astray. That's the ethics of this job. We're not doing it because we are doing paddy or friendship here. We are saying it because that's just it.
Before I want to just unpack the whole system. You said that this TVC journalist, has changed his stance at this point.
Babajide Otitoju.
Otitoju.
Yes.
Well,
he's an experienced journalist. Don't just say TVC journalist.
See, I just say TVC journalist because obviously it's easier for me not to pronounce Otitoju. But now you have taught me how to do it. Well, all right.
And that is the self-styled apostle of empirical evidence, who has once again proven that his name and the phrase empirical evidence cannot exist in the same sentence.
I'm trying to say.
And of course, that's where we are as a nation, where even in the face of overwhelming evidence, Nigerians still want to believe what they want to believe. Or they conveniently adopt a selective ignorance approach. And of course, people like Rufai Oseni have continued to use their bully pulpit to exacerbate this problem. By the way, kudos to Dr. Reuben Abati for demanding that they put some respect on Mr. Otitoju's name.
His stance at this point.
Babajide Otitoju.
Otitoju.
Yes.
Well,
he's an experienced journalist. Don't just say TVC journalist.
See, I just say TVC journalist because obviously it's easier for me not to pronounce Otitoju. But now you have taught me how to do it. Well, all right.
But not one to let such disparaging comments slide. Here is how the respected TVC analyst responded.
There's nothing like taking back what I said. Reading the law, reading the Constitution, I was convinced that a president has not got the power. At least it's not stated in the Constitution that the president had the power to suspend democratic structures. And that was what I said, and I stuck to that. It is borderline irresponsible or irresponsibility for anybody to come out and say Jide took back what he said. I knew that they would do this because they assume that everybody is cowardly. But I cannot at this stage of my career say something, disagree with the president on an issue, and then come out to say, oh, I take it back, or make my position known on an issue because my position does not go along with the president's position, I will now take it back. No, that day will not come. And I've said before on this program that the day it becomes impossible for me to say the truth, God knows what to do with me. So this is not, we didn't start this job today. Some people emerged from nowhere and suddenly became popular on TV. We are not like that. We've taken risks in our life. We've fought the military. Some of our friends lost their lives. Some of us are fortunate to be alive. Some of us wrote stories that sent our editors to jail. But we are lucky to be alive. That day will not come when I, Babajide Otitoju, will have an opinion and will be afraid to express it. And if he expresses it and it goes against the opinion of the president, he will start running from pillar to post and be looking for a way to do damage control. I do not do that. And the president knows me very well. The president has never quarreled with me over any comment that I made that may not tally with his own comments. I can recall occasions when I said some things that the president was not happy about before he became president, and he held my hand. We met at an occasion. He held my hand and said, who told you that this is this, this is this? And I said, I sent people there to do the investigation. That investigation that I'm talking about was in respect of Benue State. The president was not happy with what we did, and he complained to me. But he's not a petty person who will now say, because I do not agree with what Jide said, then he will now tell them, find a way to get Jide out of the company. If those people, if that is the way they are, this president is not like that. And this won't be the last time that I will even have opinion that will not tally with his. I can make that commitment that if I see anything that the president, that constitutes the truth, I will say it. I'm a knowledge hunter. I call judges before debating issues that have to do with the judiciary. I call judges. I call big lawyers. Some of the biggest judges in our country, I used to call them. Justice Salami, president of the Court of Appeal, I used to ask for his opinion. So when I talk with finality on legal matters, it is because I have spoken with the best in our country. That's how I made a name for myself. And no TV station in Nigeria, no TV station can rubbish the name that I've made. I was forged in the fire of qualitative journalism. I was trained by the best. And some of the people at the station where they tried to, where they openly lied against me, some of the best in that station passed through me. So this is the fact. Some of the best in that station passed through me. Yes. So I did not take back, I'm saying it again, Nigerians are witnesses to this. I did not take back what I said. What I said yesterday was Nigerians will wait for their representatives to decide what to do with the president's proclamation. The president made his proclamation. I said we have nothing to do about it. We can't decide over it. That the representatives of the Nigerian people, the Senate and the House of Reps, have the final say. They can overrule the president. So that is where I stand. And I've contacted two lawyers. Barrister Titilayo Ajao is one of them. Barrister Olutekun, we have contacted two lawyers. Because if you went on air to lie against me, to say I took back what I didn't take back, to try to portray me as somebody without honor, somebody without integrity, then we shall meet in court. It's as simple as that.
Now, if you ask me, I don't think this matter will go to court because there will be too many people appealing to him not to take the matter to court. And I'm sure there will be one person he might want to listen to and therefore drop the matter. And that is why I said earlier that cases of infraction such as this should be aggressively but professionally called out, especially when it's coming from microwave journalists like Rufai Oseni.